Hello students, today I am discussing electromagnetic induction. Electromagnetic induction. As the name indicates, it shows some relationship between electricity and magnetism. And it's true. We know that as early as 1820, one of the Danish scientists, Hans Christian Ørsted, he first of all demonstrated that if, suppose this is a conductor, suppose it carries some current. If current is passed in a conductor, then it shows some magnetic field around this. A magnetic field is produced around a current carrying conductor, and this can be detected if a magnetic compass is placed nearby this current carrying conductor and it shows deflection. It shows that some magnetic field is there around this current carrying conductor. So first of all, Ørsted demonstrated a relationship, a connection between electricity and magnetism. After this, we wonder if the vice is also true, that is, if electricity can produce magnetism, is it true that magnetism can also produce electricity? We see this by experiment of Michael Faraday. So Michael Faraday was the scientist who first of all demonstrated that as electricity can produce magnetism, likewise magnetism can also produce electricity. And this Michael Faraday, he had a very humble beginning. He was the son of a blacksmith, and in his initial years, in his childhood, he used to work at a book binding shop. He not only bound the books, he also used to read the books. And in science books, he read once that the Ørsted, he demonstrated that electricity can produce magnetism. So he was thinking, if it is true, then its reverse should also true. So he conducted many experiments, and now we know that magnetism can also produce electricity. And due to the scientist Faraday, we all are enjoying the electricity, all the gadgets which run on electricity in power shedding, or when there is no electricity in our town or village or city. Uninterrupted electricity we can enjoy by generators which work on the principle of Faraday. Now we see what Faraday has done. I will demonstrate here the experiment done by Faraday to demonstrate that magnetism can also produce electricity. So what he did, he took a coil, a conducting coil, and its two ends, they are connected not by battery, they are connected by a galvanometer. And two ends, they are connected by galvanometer. What is this galvanometer? Galvanometer is a device which tells us whether there is some electricity passing in this coil or not. If some current is there in the coil, then the needle of galvanometer, it shows some deflection. I am writing galvanometer here. Here it is 0 and some points are here, and this is the needle. According to the direction of the current, this needle deflects either to this side or to this side if there is some current in the coil. So he took a coil, conducting coil, and connected it with a galvanometer. What he then takes, he took a bar magnet. Suppose this is the north side and this is the south pole of this bar magnet. What did he see? When this magnet come near this coil, then there is a slight deflection in the needle, and when he get back this coil away from the coil, this bar away from the coil, then again there is a slight deflection in the needle. When this magnet is put inside the coil and it is not moving, then there is no deflection and the needle is on zero. No deflection is there. The deflection is only there when it moves. The moving magnet can only pass the current in this, can only produce the current in this coil, whether it is going towards the side of the coil or it is going away from the coil. This was the experiment done by Faraday. So what can we say? If there is a relative motion between this magnet and the coil, then only current is generated. Then only this galvanometer shows a deflection. The needle deflects towards the right side or towards the left side depending upon the direction of the current. Now the question arises, why there is a deflection? How this current is produced? What is the basis of production of this current? How this magnet produces current in this coil? So we see by the explanation is given as, we know this is the bar magnet, north pole, south pole. We know that around this bar magnet, magnetic field is there. These are magnetic field lines, and these magnetic fields are closed circles or ellipticals, and from north side the field lines are going out from the north side and they coming towards the side. Outside magnetic field is from north to south and inside magnetic field is from south to north. This we know. Now if this bar magnet is placed in close proximity of this coil, what will happen? The magnetic field lines which are emerging from north pole, they will go into this coil. So this is the density of magnetic field lines, or it is the magnetic field which is going in the inside the coil. So suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 magnetic lines are there in the coil, and when it comes near to coil, then suppose these are 5 lines. More lines, they will go inside the coil as it come near, and there is a change in the magnetic field inside the coil. And this field which is present in the inside the coil, it is also known as magnetic flux. So there is a change in magnetic flux when this bar magnet, it moves. When it comes near to the coil, more magnetic flux is there, and when it is gone out, then the magnetic flux is reduced. It means a change in magnetic flux is there inside the coil when the magnet moves towards it. And this change in magnetic flux, it causes the current to flow. There is a law in physics. When there is a change in magnetic flux, then a current is produced first and potential difference is produced, known as induced potential difference, or even we can call induced EMF, electromotive force. So induced electromotive force or induced potential difference is produced in the coil, and this induced potential difference, it causes a current known as induced current. So You got the point? When it is near to this, so much magnetic field lines are there. Suppose this, now this magnet is here. So the lines in the coil, they will reduce. Only suppose 3 lines are, and all the other lines, they remain outside the coil. So in this way, there is a change in magnetic flux or magnetic field when we move this magnet towards the coil or away from the coil. When it comes towards the coil, suppose the direction of the needle is on this side. When it goes away from the coil, the direction of the galvanometer needle is on the other side. That is, it depends upon the direction of the current. So this is how Faraday demonstrated that this moving magnet, the word moving is very important. The magnet should be moving. Why moving is important? Because when it moves, then only there will be a change in magnetic field or magnetic flux. Only a change in magnetic flux can induce this potential difference or induced current. So a change, so there is a relative motion. There should be a relative motion between this magnet and coil. Why I am saying relative motion? We can move this magnet, and in a second experiment we can also move this coil. This may be stationary and can move this coil towards the magnet or can move it away from the magnet. One and the same thing. Either of two, one should be moving. There should be a relative motion between magnet and the coil. Then only induced current can be produced in this coil, which we can see by deflection in the galvanometer needle. So this is one thing. Both can move to produce current? I am saying either of one can move to produce the current. Can both move? Yes, both can move, but their velocities should be different. When the velocities are different, there is a relative motion. Then current can produce. If both are going towards this side and the velocity is same, then current cannot be produced, because then there will be no change in magnetic field. And if one is going with higher velocity, one is going with less velocity, then the current can be produced, because then magnetic flux will change inside this coil. So this is the principle of, and this phenomena is known as electromagnetic induction, where induced electricity is produced. So I am writing the definition of electromagnetic induction. What is electromagnetic induction? Electromagnetic, you can write, this is the definition. I am writing the complete word. Electromagnetic induction is the phenomenon in which a potential difference which we can also call as, in bracket we can write, which is also known as electromotive force or EMF. A potential difference is induced. What is induction or induced? Without touching something. Induce means generation or production of something without touching it. Here the magnet and the coil, they are not touching each other. Just from a distance electricity is produced. That's why it is known as induced or induction, in which a potential difference is induced in the coil due to a change in magnetic field, or what we can say, magnetic flux. This magnetic field, change in magnetic field, is also known as magnetic flux between magnetic flux linked with coil. As a result, an induced current. As a result, an induced current is produced in closed circuit. Circuit should be closed, otherwise current will not be produced. Current can only flow when the circuit is complete or circuit is closed. So what I have written, what is electromagnetic induction? It is also known as EMI for short. So what is electromagnetic induction? It is the phenomena in which a potential difference PD or EMF is induced in the coil. Suppose here it is not, I have drawn that coil before. Suppose a coil is there, for the production of current a potential difference is needed. When the potential difference is there between two ends of the coil, then current can pass, then only the current can pass. You know all of this, all of you know this. Is the phenomena in which a potential difference or EMF is induced in the coil due to the change in magnetic field or magnetic flux. When the magnetic field lines are increased or decreased in the coil, then only PD is produced, induced, and then PD, this induced PD cause induced current which is linked with the coil. As a result, an induced current is produced in closed circuit. So this is the definition of electromagnetic induction or EMI. Now we know this, then again a different experiment is also done to produce this induced current in coil, and that experiment is known as two-coil experiment. Two-coil experiment. What is this experiment? A coil is taken, first a paper roll or something is taken, and this is one coil. It is connected to a battery. What does it mean? That we can pass a current in this coil. This is known as coil 1 and also known as primary coil. Now there is a secondary coil on the same roll and it is connected by a galvanometer, and this is coil 2 and also known as secondary coil. Instead of a permanent magnet, instead of a bar magnet, we have taken this coil. We know then this is plus, this is minus. When electricity will pass in this coil, a magnetic field is developed, and this magnetic field lines will go inside this coil. The same magnetic field as of a bar magnet will be produced in this solenoid when it is connected with a battery. So instead of taking a bar magnet, this is known as electromagnet. How it is electromagnet? Because the magnetism is produced due to electricity. When current is passed in this coil, magnetic field is developed around this, and this solenoid works as a bar magnet. And then this magnetic field lines, they come inside this coil. And as we have done in the previous experiment, the same happened when the electricity is, when this switch is on, when the circuit is closed, what happened? When it is open, there will be no electricity. Suppose then the electricity is at 0 ampere. The current is at 0 ampere. When it is closed, when the key is closed, what will happen? Suppose the total ampere are 10 ampere. So from 0 ampere, the current increases, the strength of current increases from 0 to 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and up to 10 ampere. The current increases from 0 to 10 ampere. As the current is increasing, as the strength of the current is increasing, side by side, the strength of magnetic field lines are also increasing. At 0, there are no field lines, magnetic field lines. At 1, there are few, 2 more, 3 more, and up to 10, the maximum magnetic field lines will be produced in this coil. So there is a change in field lines. There is a change in magnetic flux. From 0 to 10, at every step, the magnetic flux is changed until it reached 10 ampere. So this changing magnetic field in this coil, it produces induced current in this secondary coil. We know if the magnetic flux changed, then current is produced according to the law of physics. So once the key is closed, the current from 0 ampere goes to 10 ampere, suppose. Then till it reaches 10 amperes, there is a slight deflection, a momentary deflection in this needle of galvanometer, and we can see some current is produced. But once it reached 10 ampere, now it is constant, so there is no change in the magnetic flux, and again this needle comes to 0, that if the change is finished, then the current is also finished. This induced current is there as long as there is change in magnetic field. So this is one thing. Now suppose we open this circuit. We switch off we turn off the switch. Then what will happen? Now this 10 ampere current, it will come to 0 ampere. Though it comes to 0 ampere in a fraction of a second, but it takes the time from 10 to 9, 8, 7, 6, and from coming to 0 ampere, the time which is taken from coming from 10 ampere to 0 ampere, there is the change in the magnetic flux or magnetic field, and this change again produce induced current, first induced potential difference, then induced current in this galvanometer, and again we see a momentary deflection in this galvanometer on the opposite side. So what does it mean? It means that only a changing magnetic flux or changing magnetic field can produce, can generate, can induce a potential difference and a current in a coil. So this is the phenomena of electromagnetic induction, where the mechanical energy, mechanical or the magnetic energy here is changed to electrical energy, and this phenomena is used in electric generators, where the mechanical generator, this generator is now not in your course, but suppose this is the two magnetic poles or two permanent magnets, and this is the magnetic field. What is the principle of generator? If a coil is put in this field and it is rotated by hand, what does it mean by rotation? A force is applied on this coil, and this force is mechanical force. If we apply a force on this coil in this magnetic field, what will happen? Current will generate. the induced electric current will generate, and this current we use in our houses or factories as induced current. So what is happening here? The mechanical energy, it is converted to electrical energy. So this is how this electromagnetic induction is for converting this mechanical energy to electrical energy. Mechanical energy or force, one and the same thing. Now, till now, I have discussed about the magnitude of this induced current, or not exactly magnitude, but just the presence of magnitude, whether it is present or not present, which we can see by galvanometer. We can also know the magnitude of this induced current in very brief. I can tell you, suppose this is the I or induced current, it is directly proportional to B. What is B? All of you know, this is the strength of magnetic field or magnetic flux. So more the magnetic flux, more the induced current. How the magnetic flux will be more? It will be more if the speed of change of magnetic flux is more. How the speed will be more? If the magnet is moved briskly or the coil is moved with a force or briskly, and it is also directly proportional to the number of turns in the coil. So all these three, they show us the magnitude of induced current. More the magnetic field, more the speed, and more the number of turns in the coil, it produces more induced current. So this is about the magnitude. And now about the direction. How we should know in which direction the galvanometer needle will reflect or deflect, or what is the direction of the current. And there is a law known as Fleming's right hand rule. Right hand rule. We have studied Fleming's left hand rule when we studied motor, DC motor. That was Fleming's left hand rule, and this is Fleming's right hand rule, and it shows us the direction of induced current. The same. This is my right hand. So first I will form a gun. This forefinger show the direction of magnetic field, this the direction of force, and this finger, the middle finger, it shows the direction of the current. Now see this figure, these are the magnet, north pole and south pole, the direction from north to south. So this will be the direction of magnetic field. This is a conductor which is put perpendicular in this magnetic field. So the force, if the force is upward, if the force on this conductor is upward, then what will be the direction of the current? This middle finger will show the direction of the current. So if I put my hand, right hand, like this, so this is the direction of the force, this is the direction of the magnetic field. This finger, it shows the direction of the induced current, and this is from here to here. So that direction of the induced current will from north to south, like this. So this is known as Fleming right hand rule, and on Fleming's right hand rule, generator is there. Generator is on the principle of this right hand rule, and we can know the direction of induced current by this Fleming right hand rule. So this is how the presence of electric induced current can be seen by galvanometer, and by Fleming right hand rule we can know the direction of this current. This is all about electromagnetic induction. Thank you.